we are bringing you Dynasty Football buy-low quarterbacks and tight ends on today's video.
Okay.
We're going to give you one quarterback and one tight end each, so 4 total players. Do us a favor, drop a like to show some support. Subscribe if you like Dynasty content. We got a lot of content coming out. And comment down below, who's a quarterback or a tight end that you think we should all be buying right now on the low? Okay, I'll go first. My first buy low, which is a quarterback, is Russell Wilson. Let's ride, baby. Let's ride into 2023 and just completely forget that 2022 happened. It was a rough year, okay? Quarterback 16 in 6-point passing touchdown format, which is actually higher than I thought it would be. He was a quarterback 23 in points per game. That makes a lot more sense. Rough year through the air. Only 60% of his passes were completed. 13 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. It was a career low year, and the hype was crazy.
It was
like this time last year.
It was.
I think he was almost like he was being traded soon to the Broncos, and when that happened, the hype was ridiculously high. Everyone had the Broncos as potential Super Bowl contenders. Now, coming off his worst season statistically, and also he's an easier buy low because I think people actually don't like him. People hate Russell Wilson. Like they enjoy talking down on Russell Wilson. And I think that is favorable for people who want to go buy him in Dynasty Football. Hang in with me. I'm going to tell you why I think there's still hope. He was a quarterback 9, according to the community rankings, in September of 2022. Today, he is the quarterback 18. So, completely fell to quarterback 18. But I think there are still good years ahead for Russell Wilson from a fantasy perspective. And firstly, there's a history of success here for Russell Wilson. Ever since he entered the league, he has been a good fantasy quarterback. From 2012 to 2021, okay? In 2012, his rookie season, he was a quarterback 11 through these are total touchdowns. So 30 total touchdowns.
Right.
In 2013, quarterback 8. Then he was the quarterback 3, 2 years in a row. The quarterback 10, the quarterback 1 in 2017. 37 total touchdowns. So he was a top 10 quarterback from 2013 all the way to 2020. Then in 2021, he was a quarterback 16. But that's because he missed games with that finger injury, if you guys remember. So there's a history of success for Russell Wilson. He has proven to be a good fantasy quarterback and NFL quarterback. And no doubt, Pete Carroll had a huge part to play in his success. But I just can't believe that after a decade of top 10 quarterback play, Russell Wilson has just lost it. I just don't believe it.
No.
I don't believe that he's just completely lost himself and he's not the same player at all. So we've seen a history of success. That is comforting to me. Secondly, the security of this contract. Let's look at his contract because the dead cap hits are ridiculous. You're not getting rid of this guy. You're not. Okay? In 2023, you'd have to pay $107 million of dead cap if you let him go. It's just not viable. That's not possible. You can't pay any of these dead cap hits until 2026. That is the first time that you could realistically actually get out of this contract. So he's going to be here. He's going to be the guy. He's actually the 3rd highest paid contract in the NFL. And he has the 2nd most guaranteed money at signing right behind Deshaun Watson.
D-Watt, baby.
This team went all in on Russell Wilson this offseason. And when you go all in, you can't just get out. You can't just get out when you go all in because you went all in. Russ will be there till 2026 at minimum. And at that point, with the way contracts are looking, maybe it looks like a good contract at that point. I mean, remember when Pat Mahomes signed his 10-year contract and everyone was like, oh my gosh, what are the Chiefs going to do? Well, the salary cap rises every year.
Every single year, yep.
And quarterback contracts looked more and more attractive as they go. That could be the case with him. So again, he'll be on this team. There's security through 2026, in my opinion. Thirdly, there's some incoming changes. Nathaniel Hackett was fired as the head coach of this team.
Goodbye.
After they lost to the Rams in Week 16, 51-14. This year's Los Angeles Rams. They lost 51-14.
Without Matthew Stafford, without Cooper Kupp, without Allen Robinson.
Rough.
Gosh.
They were 4-11 on the year with Hackett, and they were 32nd of 32 NFL teams in offensive points per game. There was no direction. The scheme wasn't good. There was no belief in this team. It didn't work out. But after Hackett was fired, it's a small sample size, but we saw some shades of the former let Russ cook type of performances, right? There were flashes of success late in 2022. So let's look at his performances from week 1 to 16 and then 17 to 18 without Nathaniel Hackett, where I think they kind of just let him be himself. And these are points, these are per game averages, right? Fantasy points per game from 16 to 28.35. Again, small sample size. He has more total yards. He has a higher completion percentage. He has more touchdowns per game. And he has pretty much the same amount of turnovers. So, again, small sample size, but it is very comforting to see the head coach be fired and then see shades of this great fantasy asset that we saw beforehand.
Yeah.
And he is so cheap to acquire right now that even if it doesn't work out, I don't think you're going to regret buying Russell Wilson, truly. Like, based off of the community, you can currently send some of these players. Like, it might have to be packages. You might have to include something, or you might get something else in return as well. But names like A.J. Dillon, Mike Evans, Cam Akers, Tyler Algier, DeAndre Hopkins, Aaron Jones, Brian Robinson, Gabe Davis, Isaiah Pacheco, Dalvin Cook. I mean, some of these players you can just send straight up. Others you can get something in return. You know, your league is different. There's no perfect trade.
Right.
You'll have to negotiate. But it is a very friendly time to go out and trade for Russell Wilson, who is still in his early 30s and I think has a lot of good football ahead of him. You can send a mid-second round pick as well to go out and get him in Superflex formats. I'm buying that all day. And I think we have a good bounce back for him here in 2023 season. As the team starts to get a little more healthy, hopefully they add some weapons and, you know, just small little pieces here and there. Dulcich looked good. So I think Russell Wilson, there are better days ahead in Denver.
Yeah, 100%. I love Russell Wilson. Let him cook. Let him be Mr. Unlimited. Whoever comes in is just going to be something for him. I think Sean Payton, if I'm not mistaken, was interviewing with them today
there's talks about
as we're recording. So that could be interesting if he does go there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my first.
Buy now before that happens.
Yes, my first buy-low quarterback, and hear me out, is Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tags, however you like to say it. 2022 QB 15, quarterback QB 11 points per game, threw over 3,500 passing yards, completed 64.8% of his passes, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and missed 4 games. He's currently the QB 13 as of today. And I think there's a window, and I think the window could open up a little bit more, especially with these rookies that are going to be coming in, like CJ and Bryce, which maybe can drop him down another couple spots. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It's the concussions. Everyone is worried and scared and have no idea what's going to happen with Tua and the concussions and the injuries, and that concussion injury, right? So he technically had 3 concussions from week 3 against the Bills, right? At the end of the game, he leaves, or halfway through mid-second half or something like that, he leaves, he comes back, saying he didn't have a concussion when he really did. Week 4 against the Bengals, he gets hit, goes down, and we saw him with the hands. It kind of went crazy. It was really bad. So then he missed 2 games. That was concussion number 2, mind you. So that wasn't concussion number 1. That was number 2. Comes back. He plays great for 9 weeks. Gets another concussion against the Packers. He misses the next 2 games, the last 2 games of the season and the wild card round. And I just want to say that I am not a doctor. I'm nowhere qualified to tell you what concussion protocol is or whatever the case may be. I'm just telling you what I would do as a fantasy owner, as someone that kind of gives you advice, what I believe in Tua and kind of the situation. I do believe Tua is going to be fine, right? I think the concussions is a little bit unfortunate. So the saga with the NFL and everything that they put in place to help everyone else not make that happen again has been put in place. So I believe in the NFL and Tua and the Miami Dolphins. And I think this has to be a lot of growing time, especially for Tua, because maybe he realizes, look, maybe he kind of knew he had a concussion, but didn't really want to stay out of the game because it was a big game, right? Maybe he kind of had that feeling, but he fought through just like any NFL player would if they had a, messed up toe or a hamstring was hurt or a broken finger, whatever the case may be. I think Tua kind of understands what that issue is now, and maybe he has some understanding. 3 is more of kind of when I look back at it, he doesn't have a concussion history injury. He has back problems, he had the hip problem, he had a finger problem. All that has not been a problem, or concussions have not been a problem for Tua. So I feel really confident that, hey, hopefully this doesn't continue. Okay? So now why I believe in Tua just as a whole, right? I think the progression, what he has done. He's balled out, right? Before and in between the concussions, Tua was balling. Let me remind you, Tua threw 6 touchdowns versus Lamar and the Ravens in week 2. He had over 52 fantasy points. That's crazy, okay? And if you compare the numbers from 2021 and 2022, which, by the way, he did miss 4 games in both years, he has excelled exponentially. In fantasy points per game, you kind of see it on the screen, 14 to 18 points. Touchdowns, 16 to 25. Completion rate went down a little bit. He threw nearly over 900 yards more. He has less interceptions and had the amount of times he finished as a top 5 quarterback. He's finished 1 in 2021 versus 4. So he has stepped up. He has progressed.
Yeah.
Right? And if you extrapolate those fantasy points, what he was averaging this year, he would have finished as QB5, which I think is pretty phenomenal with getting 18.3 fantasy points. I think is great for someone like Tua, and the conversation would be different. We will be saying, okay, Tua is in our top 10. Maybe Tua is in our top 8, depending on the finish. But we're all scared about the concussions, right? So I think he has taken the next steps and the right steps to be a successful quarterback, fantasy quarterback as well. And let me remind you, within those weeks 1 to 3, in between the concussions, QB5, averaging QB5, week 7 to 10, QB3, in weeks 12 to 16, QB13, a little bit less, a little bit lower, right? But the second one is the potential of the team. This team is deadly. Tyreek, Waddle, whoever's going to come back in the backfield. I mean, Zach loves the idea of Zach Evans, right? Imagine if that does happen. What if it's Zach Charbonnet? What if it's Sean Tucker? I mean, Tua's going to have so much more help again, right? And I think this offensive line is decent. It needs to improve a little bit, but the weapons are there. The defense is there. I love the head coach. I love everything that they're doing, and Tua could potentially take the next step again in 2023. So I feel really confident in Tua. I think there's a buy low opportunity. Maybe it's not as low as you want it to, but people are skeptical about this concussion injury. So some people I would trade away to acquire Tua, maybe some picks. I'm thinking Purdy in a late second. I feel comfortable getting
I think
to
you can
it.
do it straight up, to be honest.
Yeah, or straight up. Kirk Cousins.
You can do it straight up right now.
You can do Kirk Cousins maybe in a late second, like maybe Zach said it's straight up. And this may be a little bit controversial to you. Maybe Trey Lance in a clean swap. I think
I definitely prefer Tua over Trey Lance.
Yeah, and Kenny Pickett. I'd rather have Tua over Kenny right now, to be completely honest. And if you want pick compensation, I think it'll probably be a late first right now in 2023 for Tua. So I feel really confident. I love everything he's doing, the team around him, the weapons around him. If he played, I wonder if he would have gone to the next round in the wild card if he actually played. Right? Like maybe. The opportunity,
they were really close.
Exactly. So I love Tua and what he can do.
Yeah, I wanted to bring Tua. You just got to him first on the script. So I love it. I'm all aboard as well. And the team has already publicly stated that they're going to ride with him. He is their starting quarterback. That's a big statement to make. So I think they're going to follow up on it. And there's just so many weapons on this team. So he's going to succeed.
Yeah.
All right. My buy low tight end is Trey McBride. Big fan of Trey McBride. Our tight end won in Dynasty rookie drafts last year. He caught 29 receptions on 39 targets for 265 yards and a touchdown this year. Just wasn't really utilized until the end of the season. He's currently the tight end 17 in Dynasty rankings, according to the community. Are you kidding me? He's tight end 17 right now? That's ridiculous. Go buy Trey McBride. I'm going to tell you why you should do it. Firstly, this team is headed in a youth-driven era. That's where they're headed to right now. It's so obvious. It's been public. This is a gap year for the Cardinals pretty much, right? Every Cardinal game that you watch is going to go a little bit something like this. Here's the update on Kyler Murray's ACL injury and how he's recovering. When Kyler Murray's back, this is probably what they're going to look to do, okay? That's what you're going to hear a lot. J.J. Watt's retired. D-Hop is likely to be traded from what we've heard. It's already been reported. This team wants to get younger, so when Kyler's back and fully himself in 2024, they can try and compete again. So if this team is looking towards the future, who does that massively benefit? Probably their second-round tight end that they picked last year in Trey McBride. So could we see more targets for him in 2023? Maybe he actually overtakes Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz, currently 32 years old. This team is moving in a youth-driven era. Zach Ertz, 32 years old, coming off a torn ACL. That's a little bit more difficult for tight ends rather than other positions. Trey McBride, only 23 years old, coming off his rookie season. We could definitely see more usage. Let's have a look at Trey McBride's per-game averages.
Right.
When Zach Ertz was healthy versus when Zach Ertz was injured. Okay? And again, I'm just showing this to show you if Ertz is out of the picture, what could it look like? Right? His snap percentage average goes up from 29 to 82%. He's averaging not even a target per game with Ertz, but now he's averaging 5. More receptions, more receiving yards a game, more touchdowns a game, and more fantasy points per game. Now, let's kind of read between the lines here a little bit, guys. DeAndre Hopkins is gone. J.J. Watt is gone. The team has publicly said that they would like to go in a more youth-driven direction. So what will happen with Zach Ertz, who is also coming off an ACL injury? Different players, but what happened to Logan Thomas when he was around that age with an ACL injury? He was not the same player afterwards. Zach Ertz is a much better player, but will he be able to recover this late in his career from an ACL? We'll have to wait and see. Not only do we have questions around Zach Ertz, but DeAndre Hopkins, 96 targets will be vacated. So maybe Ertz comes back and they share the workload, but there will be way more opportunities available through the air. Thirdly, let's talk about his college production. This was a college monster target tight end through the air, okay? In 2021, college football, he was the first PFF graded tight end in all of college football, okay? He had the most targets in all of college football. He had the most receptions. He had the most receiving yards. He had the most first downs. And he had the 5th most yards per route run. This is a very good collegiate player who was a very good prospect, profiled really well. Good draft capital in the 2nd round. Flashes to end the season. I think you should go buy him. Now is the time. This is a player that we told you not to draft in rookie drafts because you could buy him later for cheaper. This is that later time. Here's some names that you could explore in trades that either send straight up or, you guys know the deal. Darren Waller, Dawson Knox, James Conner, Romeo Doubs, Darnell Mooney, Jacoby Myers, Elijah Mitchell, Jamal Williams, Devin Singletary, Alexander Madison, Chase Claypool, Zay Jones, Tyler Boyd, Kareem Hunt. Some of those will be straight up deals. Some of those you'll have to add. Some of those you'll get something in return. You can also send a late 2nd, early 3rd, potentially in some of these classes to go out and get him. So I'm doing it right now all day before a breakout happens here in 2023.
Yeah, I like Trigger Trey. I like everything he's doing, and this is what we like. I mean, 2nd round draft pick is going to, be of value. They're going to definitely utilize him a lot. All right, my second and my first BUY-LOW tight end, technically. My second BUY-LOW person, my first tight end, right?
Yeah.
Rock with me here because we are short on time, so this might go a little bit quicker. I'm saying Chig Okonkwo. Okay, I don't know how to say the rest of his first name, but that's how.
Chigoziem Okonkwo.
Chigoziem. I like Chiggy. Chig. Anyways, 32 receptions, 64 targets, 450 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tight end 28. He finished this year. According to the community, he's tight end 16. Look, this is a great guy. He was drafted in the 4th round, middle of the 4th round, to the Tennessee Titans, and the opportunity is there. And we kind of saw that in the second half of the season. Look, the team is rebuilding, and Okonkwo is going to be a big piece of that, right? You got Treylon Burks, you have Okonkwo, and then who else is going to come? I mean, Derrick Henry is probably going to walk. Ryan Tannehill definitely wants to be here, and I think we all understand that Malik Willis is not the guy. So maybe you do have another year with Ryan Tannehill, who I believe is a good quarterback to at least build with for the next 2nd year, right? For this team. Austin Hooper is also a free agent in 2023. I'll be really surprised if they do re-sign him. And Austin Hooper leaves behind 60 targets from 2023, which can easily go to Okonkwo in 2022. Sorry, he left 60 targets in 2022, and Okonkwo could definitely acquire that in 2023.
Yeah.
And we saw the uptick in productions in the second half of the season right after the bye week for Okonkwo. So weeks 1 to 8 to 9 to 18, you can kind of see the snaps. Everything kind of there's an uptick, especially with the limited production. You can see it. The snap percentages go up, the targets go up, the receptions, the receiving yards, and the fantasy points. It's not by a lot. They're not home run hitting numbers, but you can see that all these opportunities that he can get is going to take him to the next level. And mind you, he was only averaging 36% of snap percentages on the field, right? Imagine if that's 60. Just imagine 60, 70% of snap shares for Okonkwo. I mean, he could potentially finish as a top 15, top 12 tight end without a doubt, right? And there's no one else that really is kind of taking targets away from him. I know you have Roberto Woods is there, a little bit older. You have Kyle Phillips there. He was injured, but Okonkwo is with the production that he brought this year, could potentially take a lot of opportunity away from these guys like a Kyle Phillips, like a Robert Woods. And we saw that weeks 13 to 18, Chig was tight end 9 And that was very, very limited. Probably, what, 3 to 4 targets, maybe a touchdown with 50 less yards. I mean, that's not a lot, right? And he was he was already a top 10 tight end within that, once again, weeks 13 to 18. So I feel really confident with Chig and everything that he could potentially bring next year. And he's not, once again, he's not a massive value. When I say value, I mean like price. He's not someone that's going to cost a lot, right? And
he is a value is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. He is a value. I think they're the names kind of like what Zach said earlier of players I will be trading away to get Chig. James Conner, Nico Collins, Hunter Renfrow, Alan Lazard, Noah Fant, Dawson Knox, Romeo Dubs, Darnell Mooney, Jacoby. You know, the list goes on, right? Alexander Madison. I think you can get a late second, maybe even early third if you want to trade away to get Chig. And I think you can kind of skyrocket from there. So I love everything that he's doing, everything that he can bring. Once again, tied in 9 weeks 13 to 18.
Yeah.
Give him the opportunity, man.
I like Chig. I was actually thinking about bringing him as well. The reason I went Trey, because we were very similar on these buys. We're on the same page for all these guys. We're in agreement. Mm-hmm. Did you find it at all surprising that Chig is ranked ahead of Trey McBride right now in the Dynasty?
One spot. And I think that's because of the mouths to feed there. And you have Hollywood Brown. At the moment, Hollywood Brown. You have DeAndre Hopkins. Right. You have Kyler Murray, who kind of really utilizes his legs a lot. The expectation is that they're probably going to draft another wide receiver or running back, right? So
let me ask you this then. Would you rather have Trey McBride or Chig?
I still rather have Trey because of draft capital and the quarterback.
Same. Both are great buy lows.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on the same page. I just thought, I was like, wow, really interesting.
Yeah.
Because before the season, he was like tied in 12 or something in Dynasty rankings, Trey. But tough. Chig is so intriguing because he's not the traditional tight end mold. He could just be a hybrid wide receiver tight end on the team, and that brings a lot of intrigue.
And that's what's special about him. He has the speed. He has the big play ability to go downfield and be a contested catch tight end. And that's what's exciting. You know, the upside is exciting with Trey. Trey's floor just feels really comfortable.
Exactly. The floor is safer.
So, I'm excited.
And the draft capital is better for sure.
And draft capital.
All right, guys. Well, that's all we have for today. 4 buy lows. Let us know in the comments below. Who are you buying low? If you like or disagree with some of these takes, like the video, subscribe, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLand fam.